Hello and welcome to another episode of Real Life Sci-Fi. This is a segment of a show where we talk about ideas or concepts in sci-fi and horror that have made their way into real life.
Yes, science!
So in one of the earlier episodes of Sci-Fi-Night Light, we talked about sports of the future. One of the films we talked about was The Blood of Heroes, also known as The Salute of the Jugger.
Welcome to the future, where the game of Jugger is a way of life.
This game is kind of like rugby, but replace the ball with a dog skull and replace tackling with what is kind of medieval combat, and there you go. The game is made up of two 5-man teams who try to score points by getting a dog skull across the field and into the opposing team's goal area. Each team has one player called the Quick, whose job it is to bring the dog skull across the field while being escorted by his or her team. All while insanely violent combat is going on in this battle for the dog skull. So it's a pretty fun concept for a futuristic sci-fi sport, but what if it became something more than that?
Juggers! Juggers! Juggers coming! They're coming! They're coming!
Not too long ago, it was brought to my attention that the game Juggers now actually exists in real life. Isn't that crazy? A somewhat modified and safer version of the sport was independently developed in Germany and Australia shortly after the release of the 1989 film. Since then, other countries such as Ireland, Colombia, the United States, and even my home country of Sweden have adopted the sport.
Det är precis likadan sport som många andra. Det är som som de tolkar sporten, rugby och fäktning.
Competitions have existed in several countries. The first international competition took place in Hamburg, Germany in 2007 between German and Irish teams. In 2008, Australia participated, making it the first intercontinental jugger competition ever. So let's check out the rules of the film and compare it to how it's played in real life. The game Juggers involves two 5-man teams trying to score by placing a, this time, fake dog skull on the opposing team's goalpost. All the players are armored except for one who's called the Quick. The Quick is kind of like a quarterback in that they're a really fast player charged with getting the skull across the field while the armored players protect him or her. Also, a maximum of one of the heavier players may wield a chain. When a player is hit, they must take a knee for as long as it takes the referee to hit a metal panel with 3 stones. The objective is to score more points on the opposing team, and yeah, that's pretty much it. What's interesting is that the rules are pretty unchanged when it comes to adapting it to real life. Sure, the weapons are switched out for being mostly made out of foam or material similar to what's used in live-action roleplay. Other than that, the stone count and the basic formula is pretty much the same, it's just practiced in a much safer way.
If you'd move a little faster, you wouldn't need all that sewing.
There are some minor differences depending on the region or country, but overall the main objectives are the same. Today, Germany has an official Jugger League with several teams. Spain, Australia, Ireland, and the UK all have a decent Jugger scene, and the sport seems to be growing, interestingly enough. So, being a huge fan of martial arts, but not a big fan of American football, Juggers is like the perfect combination of those for me. The fact that this exists in real life is pretty cool, and a clear-cut sign of how much influence science fiction has on our everyday culture. Especially considering how relatively unknown this film is compared to other post-apocalyptic hits like The Road Warrior or Escape from New York. So are there any other futuristic sci-fi sports that you guys wish would be brought to real life? Let me know in the comments. That about does it for me. I'm your host, Sebastian Manuel Martinez, and I'm signing out.